Hi everybody, Levi Clay here, and I am back again to talk to you about one of my guitars. You see, recently I just put up a video cover of Arch Enemy's We Will Rise, a little parody of my friend Kieran, K-Mac 2021. We did We Tell Lies. So he did the vocals, I played guitar, and that video did relatively well. Lots of you guys watched it, picked up a bunch of new subscribers, but it resulted in a lot of comments. In fact, most of the top comments on that video are, "Man, your frets are drunk," "Wobbly frets," "Melted frets," "I think your frets need some attention," etc, etc. And a couple of people asked the legitimate question, what's up with the frets on your guitar? So yeah, I thought it was a great opportunity for me to talk about the frets on this Mayonnaise. So I have done videos on this in the past, but you know, they were when I got the guitar. So why don't we talk about those now? When you see any of my other guitars, or most guitars that you see on the market, they have these parallel straight frets. I don't have those on this. These are wobbly frets, if you like. They're made by a company called True Temperament. They have made guitars for the likes of, you know, Steve Vai has some True Temperament guitars, and Matthias Eklund has True Temperament guitars. Essentially, the goal isn't what you see guys like, I believe it's Ron Sword. Someone asked me, is that one of those Ron Sword necks? Where they're dealing in microtonal notes. That's not the point of this. The point of this is to have the guitar in tune. Now, this may come as a shock or as a surprise to you, but if you play a standard guitar, it's never in tune. It's always a compromise because the notes aren't as evenly spaced as you would like them to be. And you can actually demonstrate this by taking a guitar and playing an E major chord. And then if you play that E major chord and you take your tuner and you tune each one of the notes in the chord to the note found in E major, so it sounds perfectly in tune, it will sound glorious, sounds lovely when you strum that chord. But then as soon as you change to, say, a C major chord, suddenly the notes aren't where they should be if you wanted them to be in tune, and that C major chord will sound abnormally out of tune, like really out of tune. So these True Temperament frets essentially just seek to fix that problem. Each fret is not quite straight. You see the biggest change happens on the G string. That's because the G string is traditionally the most out of tune of notes. So these are calculated, the distances that should be between notes, and then they cast these frets out of some sort of bronze alloy, I believe. It's a pretty hard material, and yeah. So what are my thoughts on them and what's the purpose? Well, the purpose is very simple. You know, in theory, the guitar should sound a lot more in tune now, and you should be able to do things like play major chords. And the thirds that are in those chords don't sound as offensive as they do on a standard fret guitar. The thing I would point out is that, you know, these frets aren't cheap. This is a very expensive addition to a guitar. I think if you custom shop order a Mayonnaise like I have here, you're looking at like 650 euros just for the frets, which is a lot of money, I'm not going to lie. I bought this guitar for a simple reason. It was a studio guitar. I wanted a guitar that was there if I ever needed to record, you know, perfect sounding guitar, which is something, you know, when I'm working on my own music, is something that I aim for in like rhythm guitar parts. So this is my, you know, studio beast. It has the True Temperament frets, so everything will be very in tune. It also has an Evertune bridge, which I'm a huge fan of, because again, that keeps everything really tightly in tune when I'm picking very hard. Things don't go out of tune. So yeah, to me this is a studio guitar. So when I'm working on things like I want my chords to be in tune. I want to be able to play these big chord voicing. And have them really ring out nice and cleanly and you know, sound in tune. If I'm working on a riff where I have to go down to something like I want those notes to be as in tune as possible. So that's essentially the answer for why I went for these wobbly frets. Like I say, they aren't cheap, and to be completely honest with you, I won't be ordering them again on a guitar in future because I've got a guitar with them on. I don't need multiple guitars with them on. I wouldn't worry too much about using this if I was out playing live. It's, like I say, it's just a studio guitar. Extremely well-built instrument, don't get me wrong. Of course, it says Mayonnaise on the headstock, so, you know, it's an awesome guitar. But, yeah, very expensive to have them put on, and, I mean... frets wear down. These take a long time to wear down, and I don't actually play it that much. I intend to play my other guitars most of the time. To be honest, unless I'm recording, I'm not using this because I'm trying to save on fret wear on it, because I can't imagine how frustrating it's going to be when this needs a fret dress and I go to a luthier and say, can you dress the frets on this please? I'm sure they'll be able to do it, but it's a much more complicated job. It will cost a lot more money. So yeah, pretty cool, and I'm glad that I have one to use in videos, and yeah, hopefully that was of interest to you guys. Now, I know what I'm going to get in the comments to this. Most people are going to say either I can't hear the difference, or they're going to say it's rock and roll, it's not supposed to be in tune, I don't care, like I don't need that level of detail. And to that I say cool, that's absolutely fine. You know, I have other guitars for that. If I want a guitar, you know, my record, my album, Hellcat Molly's Out of the Ashes, wasn't recorded on this. My guitar on that is technically a little bit out of tune, and of course I don't mind that. But it's nice to have it here as an option. And you can't sit and say to me that, oh, you know, my guitar doesn't need to be in tune, because it does, and you know it does. If you didn't know it does, you wouldn't tune your guitar before you played it. You know, you wouldn't make sure that it is correctly intonated as best to its ability before you play. You do the best that you can with the tools that you have. And I'm lucky that I'm in a position where I've been able to acquire a tool that will allow me to do a slightly better job if I need it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is the best guitar ever made. I mean, I love it. It's an incredible instrument. But it's not a case of if you don't have one of these, you can't play music. You'll be absolutely fine without it. Cool. So finally, I just want to say a huge thank you to these people over here. These are some of my supporters over on Patreon.com. They bring you videos like this. They didn't buy this guitar. I bought the guitar, obviously. But yeah, you know, they do allow me to make this more like a job. I can spend a lot more time making videos for you guys than I used to be able to when I had to, you know, go into the Lick Library offices and help people make DVDs all day long. 5 days a week. So thank you very much for your support, guys. And if you can't support me on Patreon, that's cool. But say thank you to these guys because they keep these videos coming to you. So yeah, if you would like to check me out on Patreon, you can do so by clicking this button up here. You can subscribe by clicking that button down there, and you'll find 2 more of my videos here and here. And I will edit them to make sure that both of them feature this guitar. Very cool. So yeah, any comments, questions, criticisms, concerns, you let me know in that comment section below. Thanks very much, guys, and I will see you for another video soon. Laters.